right, good morning, boys and girls. Let me tell you what we are going to talk about today, okay? I'm going to give you a scenario. All right, let's pretend like Mackenzie made a pan of brownies and her family ate, let's say, 5/6 of the brownies, okay? Well, Caitlin over here, her family made a pan of brownies, and her family only ate 1/3 of the brownies. What if I wanted to find out which family ate more brownies? Does anyone know what I would need to do? How I could do it? What am I doing to see if Mackenzie's family ate more brownies, or if Caitlin's family ate more brownies? I am comparing. Very good. I'm going to compare 5/6 and 1/3. Now let's think back to earlier in the year. What do I do to compare any kind of number, whether it's a whole number or a fraction? What symbols did I use? Tyree. Very good. I'm going to use greater than, less than, or equal to in order to discover if 5/6 is greater than, less than, or equal to 1/3. Well, we've done it with whole numbers before. Earlier this year, we might have said Mackenzie had 200 brownies and Caitlin had 50 brownies. Who had more brownies? And we would all know that who had more brownies? Mackenzie had more brownies, right? But when we're working with fractions, it's the same concept, that we have to think about it a little bit differently. Because are fractions wholes? No, they're not wholes. Fractions are a what? Part of a whole. Very good. They're part of a whole. So we're going to learn today how to compare fractions, how we compare parts of a whole. We're going to compare part of the whole that Mackenzie's family ate of brownies and part of the whole that Caitlin's family ate with brownies. To do that, y'all, we are actually having brownies in class today. I've already passed out to you a plastic knife, a napkin, and a brownie. So what I want you to do is I want you to open your brownie and just lay it on your napkin. So open it up. Let's lay it on your napkin. Okay? So you have your brownie. Lay it down. Now the first thing that we're going to do is we need to make that brownie, even though it's one whole, we're going to actually make that brownie into 2 wholes. So some of your brownies probably kind of has a line in the top of it to where you can see exactly half. If it does, cut it down that line. If not, I want you just to cut your brownie with one cut right in half. Okay, so cut it in half to where you have 2 equal pieces of brownie. So look up here, and you'll have your 2. So now instead of 1 whole, we're going to say we have 2 wholes. So lay your 2 pieces down. All right. So everyone, I'm looking to see you have 2 wholes. I like it. Very good. Good job. We've all got 2 wholes. All right. So now we are going to follow these directions and compare our brownies. So we just broke them into 2 brownies, and these are our new wholes. So what I want us to do is compare fractions with the same numerator. Remind me what a numerator is, Caitlin. It is the top number. It's also what? Number. The parts of the whole. So what I want you to do now is we're going to take 1 do that, how do you think we're going to divide this into fours? What's going to be the best way to divide this into 4 pieces? Kendall, cut it in half and then in half again. I would probably do like a cross. Zoom, zoom. Okay, so take one of them, cut it into 4s. Boom. And now I'm going to cut it to where I have 4 equal pieces. So you see I have 2 right here and 2 right here. I have 4 equal pieces. All right. Let me see if everyone has 4 equal pieces. Good job. Good job. All right. That's good. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take your other whole. So, well, first of all, this right here is now equal to 1/4, right? These are our fourths. So put those to the side. Get at your other brownie. We want to bake it into halves, just like this right here, half. So cut it in half. Okay, so we're going to cut it in just 2 pieces. Half means 2 pieces. So we've got one in half, like this, and the other one into fourths. I'm coming around to check. All right, baby, you've got all halves. That's how. Now cut both of those in half again, so you have fourths. So we should have a halves and then 3/4. Kind of keep them separated apart for right now. I like it. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we kind of got one on one side of our napkin and one on the other. Now, I want you to pull out just 1/4, get one of your fourths, and set it right beside one of your halves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what did I just notice? What do we see about 1/4 and 1/2? Which piece is bigger, the fourth or the half? Michaela, say it loud.
The half.
The half is bigger. Yes, look, it is much bigger, isn't it? All right, so my fourth is smaller, my half is larger. So right here, it says is 1/4 or 1/2. Which one is greater than, less than, or equal to? So what symbol do I need to put in here? Greater than, less than, or equal to? 1/4 is what, Christopher?
Greater.
1/4 is greater than 1/2?
Right there.
It's less than 1/2. So we're going to write 1/4 is less than 1/2. So on your paper, I want you to put in that less than sign. Now tell me something that you're noticing. We have the same numerator right here. Our denominators are different. What do you notice about the size of the piece of 1/4 versus 1/2? Jonah? The 4 is bigger? Look at your paper. Look at your paper right here. 1/4, 1/2. Which one's bigger? The what? The half. So the 2 is bigger, right? The 1/2 is actually bigger than the 1/4, even though 2 is a smaller number than 4. Let's look on your fraction strips that you also have. Let's also compare 1/6 and 1/8. Now you don't have a brownie for this, but I want you to look on your fraction chart. Find 1/6 and then find 1/8. Which one of those two is bigger, 1/6 or 1/8? Which one is larger? Harper, say it loud. 1/6 is larger than 1/8. But y'all, that denominator of 6 is a smaller number than the denominator of 8. What is that telling me? Are we starting to see a pattern here?
That even if the denominator is
Yes, you're exactly right. So as we look at our fraction charts, the larger our denominator gets, what's happening to the size of my pieces? They're getting smaller. They are getting smaller. Let's look at one more example that's right there on your fraction strip. Let's compare 3/6 and 3/10. Find 3/6 on your fraction chart and find 3/10. I need you to sit up and I need you to do this. 3/6 and 3/10. Put your finger on 3/6 and put your finger on 3/10. Which one of those is bigger, Rylan? 3/6 or 3/10? 3/6 is bigger. If you agree, give me one of these. Yes, 3/6 is bigger than 3/10. All right. So again, as our denominators are getting bigger, my pieces are actually getting smaller, right? They're getting smaller. So anytime I am comparing and my numerators are the same, I know that the smaller denominator is going to be the bigger fraction. Okay, the smaller the denominator, the bigger the fraction if my numerators are the same. So I want you to now draw a picture of your brownies where we have 1/4 and 1/2. So I'm going to help you with the first one. Let's just draw a whole brownie and then draw a second whole brownie. And we're going to divide the first one into fourths, like this. And the second one into halves. And now what I want you to do is color in 1/4 and 1/2 on the two holes. Color 1/4 over here, just with your pencil, and 1/2 over here. 1/4 and 1/2. Very good. Does anyone have a question on how we compare using the same numerator? Yeah, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. Okay. All right. Very good. So now let's look at another way that I can compare fractions. This way was if my fraction had the same numerator. Let's look to see what if my fractions have the same denominator. So now, put your pieces back. So put your halves on one side of your napkin, put your fourths on the other. And let's look at the two fractions we're comparing. We have 1/4 and 3/4. So right now, my fractions that I have, or my brownie pieces on my napkin, they're both not into fourths yet, are they? Only one of them is. I need to take my halves and turn them into fourths. So on the side where you have the two halves, I want you to cut those to make them into fourths. And now you see that we have both of my brownies are in fourths. I got one brownie in fourths and my other brownie into fourths. Okay? Does everyone have yours into fourths? All right, make sure they're separated, put one on one side of your napkin and one on the other so that we all have our fourths. Okay, so now we're going to compare 1/4 of a brownie to 3/4 of a brownie. So in the middle of your napkin, I want you to bring over 1/4 from one of your holes and bring over 3/4 from your other hole. And I want you to stack them right there. And let's decide, is 3/4 Is 1/4 greater than, less than, or equal to 3/4? We're going to use a straight line right here. That one and that one. As they are, so those and those. Okay, so let's look. Yep. So put 3/4 in a line, and then put a 1/4 on top. Very good. Where's your 3/4? There's your 1/4. Very good. Where's your 3/4? And your 1/4. Yep. 3/4 and 1/4. So guys, let's look. Ooh, Claire. Is 1/4 greater than, less than, or equal to 3/4? Less than. Do you agree with her, Braxton? Ooh. Let's see, Anaya, do you agree that 1/4 is less than 3/4? Y'all, why is 1/4 less than 3/4? Maverick?
Because 3/4 has a bigger numerator.
3/4 has a bigger numerator, yes. If I have 3 out of 4 pieces right there, that's more than just 1 out of 4 pieces. So let's go ahead and compare our fractions. 1/4 is less than 3/4. Give me one of these if you agree. Good job. Awesome. So now what I want us to do is we're going to compare a couple of other fractions by using our fraction chart. So this time we're going to look at 1/6 versus 3/6. So find your sixths and let's decide, is 1/6 greater than, less than, or equal to 3/6? Look at your fraction chart. Put your finger on 3/6 and a finger on 1/6. Ooh, let's see. Kendall, what do you think? Is 1/6 greater than, less than, or equal to 3/6? Less than. What do you think, Samaria? Is 1/6 greater than, less than, or equal to 3/6? Less than. Calvin, what do you think?
Less than.
Less than. If you think it's less than, give me one of these right here. It looks like everyone is in agreement. You are right. 1/6 is less than 3/6. Now, why is 1/6 less than 3/6? Why would that be? Why do you think? Zehan?
Because the numerator is a
The numerators are different, yes. And my denominators are what? The same. So that means that all of my pieces are exactly the same size. So if they're all the same size, if I have 3 of 4, that's going to be a lot bigger than just 1 of 4, right? I'm going to have more. All right, let's try another one. Let's do 5/8 and 2/8. Is 5/8 greater than, less than, or equal to 2/8? Look on your fraction chart, and I want you to see on your fraction chart. Is 5/8 greater than, less than, or equal to 2/8? Anaya, what do you think? Is 5/8 greater than, less than, or equal to 2/8? Look at your fraction chart. Find 5/8 and 2/8. Find 5/8 and 2/8. Where's 5/8? Where's 2/8? So which one's bigger, 5/8 or 2/8? 5/8. Ooh, she said 5/8. Avery, what do you think? Is 5/8 greater than, less than, or equal to 2/8?
More than.
More than. Adam, what do you think? More than. It is greater than. If you think it's greater than, give me one of these again. Good job. It is greater. So 5/8 would be greater than 2/8. All right. So let's think back to our brownie model. And I want us to draw it. So we're going to again draw our 2 brownies divided into 4 parts. Brownie 1, brownie 2, We're dividing it into 4 equal parts. We have 1/4 shaded in here, and 3/4 are shaded in over here. When I'm comparing two fractions, if my denominators are the same, the larger the numerator, the bigger the fraction. Okay? So it's kind of just the opposite as if our numerators were the same, right? It's just the opposite. So if our denominators are the same, the bigger the numerator, the bigger the fraction. Give me a thumbs up if you understand how to compare fractions if our denominators are the same. Very good. If anyone has a question, put your hand on top of your head. You have a question about it. Very good. I don't see any questions. Good job. All right, so we got one more way that we're going to compare fractions today, and that is by making a common denominator. Now, before we do it, who remembers what a common denominator is? What would a common denominator mean? What does it mean, Caitlin? Equal. We need to have our denominators the same. Well, let's look at our example. We've got 3/8 and 1/4. All right. In 3/8 and 1/4, are my denominators the same? No, they are not. They are not. But what I want you to do is I want you to take one of your whole brownies. Okay, so we've got them separated again into our 2 wholes. And I want you to divide your fourths, divide each fourth into halves. We're going to make 8s so that we can get 3/8. So go ahead, I'm going to take each of those fourths of one brownie, and I'm cutting those in half. And now I have 8 pieces that look about this big. Okay, so go ahead and get those pieces. And I want to show you something very quickly. Okay, if we have 3/8 and 1/4, I want you, let's see, you don't have 8s yet, baby. I need for you to cut those 4 into 8. So cut each one in half. Yep, you've almost got it. You're getting it. We're good. Let's see, what about tables right here? Table 5, are y'all good? Yep. Leave one of your brownies still into fourths. Take the other one and cut it into 8s. You got it? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we make our common denominators, I want you to, first of all, take 3/8 and put them in the middle. Get 3/8. I've got my 3/8 right here. I'm going to put them right in the middle of my napkin. And I want you to take a 1/4. And I want you to stack them on top of each other. 3/8 and 1/4. Y'all, look at your brownies. Is 3/8 greater than, less than, or equal to 1/4? You don't have a fourth, baby. You have a third. You have 2/3. You just send the other one over. Oh, never mind. You got it. Sorry. I'm thinking something different. What do y'all think? What's more, 3/8 or 1/4? Looking at your model that you made with your brownies, what do you think, Michaela? 3/8. Tyree, what do you think? 3/8. Ellie, what do you think? 3/8 more or less than 1/4? 3/8. So looking at it, I can tell that 3/8 are equal to 1/4. But guess what? When you're in, hands down for just a second. If you're in Walmart or Lowe's and you're trying to figure out the difference between 3/8 and 1/4, you're not going to have brownies there to help you to cut them into pieces. So we've got to have another strategy. And that strategy is to find a common denominator. So what we do when we're finding a common denominator, I'm going to look at my two denominators. I have 8 and 4. Can I turn my fourths into 8s? Yes, I just did it, didn't I? So I want you to take your other fourths and I want you to turn them into 8s. Yep, your second whole, turn all of those fourths into 8s. Okay, so on all of your fourths, turn them into 8s. Just like we did a second ago, turn your fourths into 8s. I'm looking, it looks like we're doing a good job now getting these fourths into 8s. Right? We're going to change our fourths into 8s. Very good. Just about got it. This was a little harder. Put your hand on top of your head when you have all of your fourths into 8s. When all of your fourths are into 8s. I see a couple of people. Braxton, thank you. Rylan, Landon, thank you. Fourths into 8s, hand on top of your head. Fourths into 8s, hand on top of your head. All right, guys. So let's see. Pens can come down now. We changed our fourths into 8s. So let me ask you, how many fourths are equal to 2 8s? I'm sorry, I just gave y'all the answer. Did y'all hear that? How many fourths can I make into 8s?
Oh,
1/4 is equal to how many 8s? 2 8s. Are 1/4 and 2 8s equivalent? Yes, they are equivalent. We could actually do this without using our brownies because 1/4 equals how many 8s? Well, to go from 4 to 8, what did we have to do? Multiply by what? Multiply 4 by what? Oh, we just had a test on this. Multiply 4 by what? 2. And if I multiply my 4 by 2, what do I have to multiply my 1 by?
The same.
2, the same. So 1/4 is equal to 2 8s. If my denominators are not the same, I'm going to have to find a denominator that they both have in common. In this case, it was 8s because we knew that we could take our fourths, divide them in half to get 8s. So 1/4 is equal to 2 8s. So now I'm pretty much, I have the same problem, but I'm going to rewrite it so that my denominators are the same. Now I want you to compare 3 8s and 2 8s right there on your brownies. 3 8s and 2 8s. So get 3 8s and 2 8s. And which one was larger? 3 8s or 2 8s? What do you think, Sihan? 3 8s. What about you, Leah? What do you think? 3 8s or 2 8s? 3 8s is larger? 3 8s. If you agree with 3 8s, give me one of these. Good job. All right. So 3 8s is greater than 2 8s. Let's go ahead and draw a picture of it. So I want you to draw a picture of 3 8s. So you're going to come over, you're going to make your fourths, and then you're going to take those fourths and cut them in half, however you want to. And then come over here, we're going to have fourths. But then I want you to draw dotted lines to draw these fourths into 8s like this. Just kind of dot it so we can see that we actually did turn it into 8s. But we're going to color in 3 over here. And we're going to color in these. I didn't color in 3, I only colored in 2. All right. If you have a question on how we did number 3 by finding a common denominator, put your hand on top of your head. If you have a question about it. Claire, do you have a question on how we found that? Okay. All right. Good job, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do one more finding a common denominator, and then we're going to practice, okay? So let's look at, I want to use 2/3 and 5/6. So this is just a practice one, 2/3 and 5/6. Do they have the same numerators? No. Do they have the same denominators? No. So now I need to find a common denominator for both 3 and 6. Now what I always like to do is I like to look at the smallest denominator, which is 3. And I like to say, can I multiply anything by 3 to get to 6? Anna? What can I multiply by 3 to get 6? 2. So I need to come over and make an equivalent fraction for 2/3, but it needs to have 6 as a denominator. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to say, 6, that needs to be a 6. 3 times what gave us 6? We just said, everyone. 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So if I multiply 3 by 2, what do I have to do to my numerator? Multiply it by 2. So what is 2 times 2? 4. So 2/3 is equal to 4/6. So now I'm thinking over here, this is 4/6 compared to 5/6. So is 4/6 greater than, less than, or equal to 5/6? Because now I have the same denominator. So which one of these is going to be bigger, the 4 or the 5? Maverick.
5.
The 5. So 4/6 is less than 5/6. So that also means that 2/3 is less than 5/6. All right. Questions before we get started practicing a little bit? Okay, so we have a worksheet that we're going to do, and we're going to have about, for today, since we're kind of had to finish our task, we're going to take about 15 minutes to work on it, and then we are going to move into science. All right, any questions? Okay.